Morning guys. Part 2 of your 2240, 2250 overhaul, strip down, recon, whatever you want to call it. A few little mods you can do to the trigger frame. First of all, you need a 16th Allen key and it to remove the 3 screws. But before you do that, take out the spring. Chances are you'll have already took the spring out when you stripped it down in the first videos I showed you, but I just put it back in just so you can see. There's 2 types of trigger frame. There's one with the 3 screws, which is plastic. You get one with 2 screws, which is steel or cast. But the strip down and the tune is exactly the same. So if you take the 3 screws out, or bolts, whichever way politically correct these days, remove them. There's nothing inside to go twang, nothing will jump out at you. Just remove the 3 bolts. Now I've already did the mod in here, so I'm going to show you what the mod is, or the mods. So you remove the top plate carefully, and that's what you're faced with inside. You've got your sear pin, you've also got your safety, you've got your trigger pin, and you've got a little spring loaded washer there which just keeps the tension on the trigger pin, on the pin. So you remove them, they just lift out, dead easy. That's them lifted away. You're left with your bare trigger frame. People polish these, people paint them, clean them up, it's entirely up to yourself. Now, the mod you do, because you want the trigger to be as smooth as possible, take the trigger itself and you polish the heel, the contact area, because the triggers are stamped out and they have a seam. I don't know if you can see that, there's a seam runs around there, and they're just stamped out by the 1000 and they're just dead rough. So what you're aiming to do is polish the seam out so it's nice and clean and smooth. And that seam runs on the underside of the sear. And as you can see, the sear is the same. It's just stamped out, very harsh, very cheap, mass produced. But as you can see also, I've polished the sear and I've polished the trigger. So when them two make contact, it's very, very smooth. There's no harshness, there's no binding, it's lovely and smooth. Takes a little bit doing because it's hardened, but it's worth it. Also the front edge, this is where the hammer sits against, and that's what releases off the hammer, because the hammer comes back and it locks in behind the sear, and when you pull the trigger, the sear drops and the hammer comes forward. That area there is also very important. If you can get that lovely and smooth and polished, you'll find that your trigger is greatly improved. Your second mod, when you put it together, is the tension of the spring. By changing different tensions of the spring makes the trigger crisper, easier to pull, lighter trigger pull. It's just experimental. There's loads of stuff out there. There's magnetic triggers, there's all sorts. You just have to try it yourself. There's guides which guide the spring to stop it kicking left and right. The spacers you can put in, the spring tension, you can shorten them. It's entirely up to yourself. But one thing I will say is do not remove too much material off that underface, because then you're going to get a lot of slop and you might have a lot of trigger travel before you release the hammer. So just bear that in mind when you're taking that down. Reassembly, pin in, sear in. Now, your safety, it's got a notch, and that notch rides backwards and forwards, and that's what locks your trigger in position. So it's always, when you put the pin in and you put the safety in, try and put them in. It's a little bit fiddly, but you can drop them in both together and they drop in like so. See, it sits under there. So yeah, and that's it, it's in there now. And put your little washer back on the top. So that's your tension on there, like that. And when you come put these things back together, the standard screws are acceptable, but there's a guy called Gary Lindop, which I'm going to plug now, Droid Components on eBay. He sells the best quality screw kits for these guns you can buy. Without a doubt, without any arguments, there's not a better kit out there. Stainless steel or brass, whichever your preference is. Before you start this, go to eBay, go to Droid Components and buy or sell a screw kit. You'll not be disappointed. They come with everything to do with the gun, and if you lose your safety spring and your ball bearing, it even comes with them as well. I can't emphasize highly the quality of this guy's gear, and he'll have them to your door the next day, so it's well worth it. So if you're going to do this, get a kit off Gary. You'll not be disappointed. You can put a little bit of light grease inside of there, drop the top back down, and as I said, I've got the screws from Gary's, and you can see the quality compared to the standard Crosman stuff. In they go, 3 stainless screws, same Allen key, because Gary's did his research, he's did all his time, he's made sure he's got the best money he can buy. So before you start your strip down, have a word with Droid, get yourself a screw kit, buy yourself 2 screw kits, because you never know. Brilliant, worth every penny. Not just bling, but they're stainless as well, so that they do look the business. So you can see, lovely screws in. Your CR spring sits up inside and over the top, and that's your slightly tuned, a little bit better, polished, smooth operating. Check the safety locks. Safety locks lovely. Safety back out, safety fires. And there you have it. Quick, easy, 10-minute job, maybe it's a little bit longer depending on what kind of gear you've got to polish, but it's worth doing, definitely worth doing. And as I said, for screws you can't go wrong. Have a word with Droid Components on eBay. Don't settle for anything else. Gary's your man. I'll show you how to put it back together next time with some other parts from some other suppliers. Thank you, cheers.